All right, we are at the house of Kat and Michael. Knock, knock. Who's there, man?
Oh,
right.
Look who it is. My favorite vlogger. Hello, guys.
All right, Michael.
Welcome to our beach house. We pay 20,000 pesos a month for absolute paradise, although it didn't come like this. So we had to make it happen. It was originally just on stilts, one bedroom with a balcony and a downstairs bathroom. Just imagine just half of that cement and none of that wall, none of these walls there. Stairs and a downstairs bathroom. Okay. And it was rented on Airbnb, so that's why you could get that kind of money, because it was right on the beach.
Okay.
But I made a deal. I said, okay, I'll rent it for the 20, but I want to renovate it. And so I want a long-term lease, because I was willing to pay 30,000 a month to live on the beach. And so I said, okay, so I'll just take, I have up to 10,000 times how long my lease is for how much I can spend on there. So I got a 2-year lease with a 1-year renewal, and it's my option on the renewal, so therefore it's not a guaranteed. I don't have to stay if I don't want to. But it worked out. We spent quite a bit of money, about, I want to say originally 120,000, but then we kept spending, we spent another 50,000 on the Kubo, and then a lot of things we could take with us. So anyway, we'll show you the Kubo in a minute. I don't want to get ahead of stuff. So yes, we still have the bathroom, but we did is we enclosed everything and made it twice as big. Okay. Right? So there's 2 bathrooms now, and that door's locked out now. It's not used anymore.
Okay.
But I'll take you upstairs first, because that's amazing.
I see you got your split air conditioner.
Yeah, we got 2 of them in here.
Okay.
So that used to be just a one-wall window type air conditioner for the upstairs, but it was costing us 12, 13, 14,000 a month. Wow. Up to, and as low as 8,000 a month for electricity for one split air or one wall type air conditioner.
Window unit, yeah.
And I have a meter. So you take a regular meter, you run an extension cord off it with a power bar, and you can plug anything into it, and you'll see how much power it's using. It was like 90% of our power. So once I realized that, I was like, well, it's worth me spending the money on a split aircon. Okay. Now my bills are, with 2 of them, and you'll see what I mean, and all kinds of things we've added, is like 3,000 to 4,000 pesos a month. So we had this bathroom made, constructed, and we've got the big shower and everything. It's still got an indoor-outdoor feel. This whole place is like that, and so it's decent. We don't use it that often because we never did put in a pressure tank. So only at night is there enough pressure to have a shower.
Okay. So do you actually use the on-demand water heater?
Yeah, we do, because it depends, right? If you're in an air conditioning area for long periods of time, like say downstairs we're watching a movie, then we go to bed. Well, now you're not hot, right? Your body temperature's way down, so now you want a hot shower. If it was right now, no, I wouldn't go there. But yeah, it depends on what your situation is.
All right.
And it can get cold if you not cold, cooler, because I live on the ocean.
Yep.
Anyway, so this is our what was here. This was the living room, bedroom, everything in one, and we have this one, and then we have a little daughter, so we have her mattress and we just throw it on the floor. Okay. And this is where the window air conditioner used to be. Okay. All right, we had that closed in, and now we have the split aircon. Don't mind the tape. We don't like looking at the number when you're sleeping at night. Okay.
So what was the difference in price month over month?
Oh, we save at least 5,000 a month.
5,000
and we
a
have
month.
We have 2 air conditioners now.
Okay.
Right? 2 air conditioners, a fridge, freezer, every appliance. We have an oven. We have everything. Okay. And it is far cheaper. Go figure. That's how bad those window air conditioners are. They're really bad. And of course, this is the part that sold it for me.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. This is perfect, absolutely perfect. Now they're doing renovations right now, so there's some grinding, but normally it's not that loud. And they'll be done soon anyway. They're just doing, minor renovations, I guess. But it's been a month or so.
So is this where you do your editing?
No, not no more. I used to do it here, but salt air is really bad for computers.
Oh, I see these little buggers.
Yeah, so there must. So yeah, what happened is we've been away for 5 days. We went to Tagaytay, or 7 days, and a bird died in here, and so then the ants have been coming up and disassembling it, and all that's left is some feathers. Okay. So they normally wouldn't be up here. There's no food up here, but right now they found some food.
Well, they got in my computer those exact.
Oh wow!
Right there, they got in the computer. They made it put all their eggs inside the computer, and I had to buy a new display.
Yeah. So now because we have a bar and a restaurant, and we have a lot of employee files, we have a lot of accounting files and accounts payable, receivable, all the books and everything. Yes, we have an accountant, but they input it.
Okay.
And then they give it back to us. So we end up with all the files.
Okay.
So we finally rented an office.
Okay, so you have an actual office.
Yeah, so we have 2 desks in there. And so Catherine does her end of the books.
Okay.
And I do all my editing in there. So
okay.
now I don't have my computer worrying about rust and corrosion, because being on the beach, you do constantly have problems.
Yeah.
But I have dielectric grease now to cover everything.
Okay.
And so therefore it doesn't corrode. And also we put covers and water IP68 plugs and all kinds of things in. We've done a lot.
Okay.
Laura uses this area for playing in here too. Right, Laura?
Yeah, makeup.
And makeup. She does her makeup right there. Oh, look at that. All right, let's keep the tour going. We have great Wi-Fi here. People think in the Philippines it's really bad, but we have up to a gigabit per second up and down.
All right, that's better than Starlink.
So I have my one there that's barely hanging on, but I have an outdoor one, and it reaches about as far as we've ever gone in the water, because you can go a long way and the water will be chest deep.
Okay.
And we still get Wi-Fi all the way up there.
Okay, that's excellent. We're working on putting an access point in as well.
Yeah, the waterproof ones are great. They're really, really good. They never break down. So, let's continue.
I like it. It's unbelievable. This is 20,000 pesos a month.
Yeah, exactly.
Sheesh.
So this is what we did though, and so we insulated all these walls. So upstairs you can hear noise, but down here it's fully insulated, and cement up to a certain level, and then after that it's the hardy board and insulation and hardy board.
Okay.
And then bamboo on the outside. And so we did all of this. We built this whole downstairs, which is perfect for us. So like I said, we have this new fridge in here with a freezer, and we have a split aircon here, which this one is I think 2 horsepower.
Wow.
Like that. 2 or 1.5, and it can make this room perfectly clean, cold really quick. No, we didn't have we couldn't find a sofa that we liked, so we bought a beanbag.
Okay.
And we just filled it, and now our whole family can just pile on there.
Okay.
And we can watch TV, and if you fall asleep, no big deal. Big giant bed basically. Yep. And it worked out really good. But we even have an oven, so we don't use it that often, but we do use it. Of course, you have to have an air fryer if you're in the Philippines, and kettle, and we have rice makers, and we have everything. We have slow cookers, you name it. So we don't do without. And this is the new door we put for the bathroom. So we enclosed everything.
Oh, okay.
We poured this floor. And this is what came with it.
Okay.
And we renovated this too. That's a different ceiling and stuff like that.
Okay. Looks good.
Tried to make it nicer.
Yeah, it's all right.
Yeah, it's okay. We found that we like simple life. We really do, because it's easier to keep clean and not much to think about. And then our dirty kitchen and our laundry is here.
Oh yeah.
We've got a sink out here for that, and then we cook here. We own a bar and a restaurant, let's be honest. We try. Actually, I shouldn't say, we don't eat there very often at the restaurant anymore.
So what is your philosophy on washing machines? I got in a lot of trouble on the vlog because I bought a top load. Everybody's telling me to buy the front load.
Well, these are cheap, right?
I think so, yeah.
This came with the place. I think it came with the place. So we just continue to use it. But honestly, Filipinos will mostly hand wash anyway. Yeah,
they don't like their clothes getting tore up.
No, they like to, and the clothes come out so white and clean. I don't know how they do it. So yeah, and then that's the other split aircon that we put in.
Okay.
So yeah, we made this place so that we have everything we need.
Yeah, it's
such
very
a small spot,
efficient, comfortable, and it's right on the beach.
Yeah. And we don't, other than we collect too much junk now.
I
wish we didn't, right? But
you really couldn't ask for more.
We have a smaller place.
Yeah.
If you have a small place, you won't collect as much, I think. Maybe. But the reason I moved here is not any of that. And that was the beach life.
The beach life,
right?
yeah.
We did all this. This was all just kind of dead grass and stuff like that. And we had it all sanded up. There's actually a path here, but the storm brought all the, last year, storm season, did a lot of damage to the fence.
Okay.
And pushed all the sand up. But the fence, the owner of the property told me that he was going to put in a retaining wall and a brand new one with a boat ramp, and it was supposed to be done December. Then it was to be done January 1st. then it said March 1st, then April 1st, and I don't think they're ever going to do it. So I might have to do something for storm season to keep, because I put tons of sandbags last year and they're already under the sand. And we weren't even ready. The water comes in. I don't want them to take my Baja Kubo away because if it erodes deeper, you can see it already got to some of the foundation.
Yep.
Because the ground was this high. So I have to probably do it myself. Just like the fence over here, I did this. They didn't finish the wall. And I was promised they would be doing it, but everybody in my comment section was correct when they said that landlords never do what they promise. And unfortunately, I said, oh, no, not this one.
All right.
Never happened.
That's the way it goes.
Yeah, it is what it is. Well, we just had a storm.
Oh, yeah.
While we were away, there was a storm, so everything kind of knocked over, but yeah, this is my beauty. I spend a lot of time out here. It's beautiful breeze. You know, I can open this, but the sun goes this way, so I leave it closed. And we love hanging out here. And if people come over, this is what we do. We'll sit out here because this is everything, right? I love this, especially when the water comes up at night. And we've got lights through the place, got electricity, we've got everything.
So did you built this out here? You had it built here?
Yeah, 50,000 pesos.
Okay, that's about right. 50,000 pesos. That's really, and Karen tells me that they last untreated. They last about 6 or 7 years. Is that right?
Yeah, and I had mine treated immediately.
Okay.
You can see the color difference. It's running out.
So how much they charge for that treatment?
Oh, I paid for it. So you buy diesel oil and shellac, mix it, and that keeps the termite down.
Just diesel oil and shellac?
Yeah.
All right.
And mothballs. Sorry, mothballs.
Okay.
And you mix all that up, and then you have them paint it. And so I bought the supplies, and then I just paid the 500 pesos a day. And I had 2 guys here, and I think it took them 1 day, because I also had the house done. So maybe 2 days for the whole house and this.
Well, that's great, because I will have that done to our chicken coop.
Yeah.
Maybe our kubo too, definitely.
Yeah, but even if you don't need shellac, you should do the diesel oil and mothballs every couple of years if you're in a termite area. This isn't really a termite area, but I still wanted it to be done. Okay. So my bar gets the same thing, has to get done every year. Maybe every 6 months to be safe at the bar, actually. Yeah, it's really simple, so cheap, and
Now I'm pretty shocked that the mountain people haven't told me, that the in-laws haven't told me to do that, because they're not. I'm pretty sure they're not doing that at all.
Oh no, probably not.
They're just rebuilding it.
More money in that, I guess.
I don't. Well, no.
For them to rebuild.
No, but yeah, I mean, Tatai just built, about this, a little bit bigger than this, addition on the house for the wedding.
Yeah.
And I don't think he's gonna shellac. I don't even think he realizes.
Yeah.
So.
Well, it was separate crew. Like I hired my own guys to do this. Like I just grabbed some guys and said, I'll pay you for the day. And we do that often. We will hire people just to do things, right? So I'll come up with a project and we'll do it. Like when I do this, I'm probably going to buy the cinder blocks and the cement, and I'll do the foundation. I'll do the retaining wall.
So how much are you paying for labor here? Because we're paying for skilled labor, we're paying 6, and for unskilled labor 5.
We're just paying 500. But I'm not getting, I guess, fully skilled. Maybe that's what it is. But like the carpenters and everything else, one time a guy tried to charge me 800 because he said he was an electrician, and the job he did and the fact I had to explain to him how to wire up GFIs and stuff like that, told me that I shouldn't have to pay him that. So I told him, you're not coming back if you want 800. Because he didn't even know what he was doing, and he had no tools, and he had nothing. So I was like, okay, so I have to provide all the tools too. You're getting 500.
Okay.
So yeah, 500 is pretty standard. There's just so many construction guys down here at the beach because people are renovating. Like you can hear next door and everything. There's a lot of guys here, and that's what their livelihood is.
Now,
just picking up jobs.
Out in the province, they're telling me that it's hard to find workers often.
Yeah, it's hard to find full-time workers, right? It's hard. It's easier to find a guy to work for a day.
Okay.
But it's very difficult for me to hire at the bar, right? We post the job, we pay the 500, but we also pay a percentage of the tips for the day, even if you're in the kitchen. Everybody gets
Nobody wants it?
It's really hard. And we get free meals, right? Which is good meals. So we get free meals, we get free uniforms, free everything. And yeah, it's really hard. We'll put out a job posting and might get 3 resumes. Contact all 3. We're lucky if 1 gets back to us, and then we're even luckier if they show up for the interview. So
would you say that if the average resident of Rojas wanted a job, they could find one?
Yes. Oh my God, yes.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah.
you could almost consider that the economy here is at full employment.
Yeah, because anybody who wants work goes to Iloilo, right?
Okay.
That's the problem.
Yeah, that's what I'm being
us here.
told over in Balete is that they're gone to Boracay.
Yeah, well, Boracay is the same thing here. Actually,
Yeah.
I should say
Okay.
that. There is the more relaxed lifestyle here, where if they make their basic needs, their incentive to go further is low, very low.
Okay.
And so I'll talk to some of the people that live across the street, and I'll be like, "Hey, do you want some work? Just clean up the beach in front of my house or whatever. I'll pay you 500 pesos for like 3 hours." And they're like, "No, thank you." They just go back to looking on Facebook. They just, and we know they're out of work, but they get enough from whatever they do that there is no motivation and drive to make more money. It really isn't a thing. And I've noticed that all over. And we've tried to even think of helping them because their kids don't go to school. And they send them out with chicharrones and to beg all day long on the beach. And I'm like, I want to help these people so the kids can go to school. So let me find a way to sponsor them in some way. And they're just not interested. They're like, no, the kids make us money every day. They come home at 11 o'clock at night.
Interesting.
And they bring home the money. So there's no motivation for them. They're not interested in that. And they're too short-sighted in that. I don't know why. So, but yeah, work-wise, and I've talked to a lot of people. They have the same problem. So getting people, hiring people is so hard.
Yeah.
People are just not. Yeah.
Maybe the ambitious people, of the ones that really
go to the cities.
Maybe they're going overseas too.
Overseas, go to Manila.
Yeah.
Go to the Iloilo is the same thing. The BPOs and everything else. The more or you start your own business if you're ambitious, right?
Oh yeah, I've noticed that there's quite a few rich business men here.
Yeah.
It's trucking companies.
Oh yeah.
Meat butchering, things like that, and they're buying land, they're buying trucks.
Sure.
And just work ethic.
Yeah, well, big money
they
here
got the drive.
Is the distribution side of things. So the farmer, it doesn't make any money. He gets next to nothing for his stuff. It's the guy, but he doesn't have a truck, so he can't do anything with it. And so the middleman comes along and says, I'll buy all of your harvest.
Exactly.
And he pays them a ridiculously low price. Or he tells them, I'll get you what I can get, and I get a percentage of it. And then he just lies about what he gets. That's very common, unfortunately, and very sad. But they come in and they buy up all their stuff, and then they sell it at the market for 4 times the price, 5 times the price. It's not like they're working on 20% margin, 30% margin. No, they're working on 400% margin. Yeah. And that's because there is no lending per se in here, so nobody's going to lend a farmer to buy a truck, right?
No operating loans.
Yeah, exactly. There's not going to be anything like that because they probably don't even have a title for their land or whatever. Most of the people don't have bank accounts. None of my staff have bank accounts, right? And I'm so shocked by that. I'm like, I don't have a bank account. But nobody. And then when I talk to my girlfriend, the same thing. Anybody in your family have a bank account? No, nobody has bank accounts.
So I noticed that the insurance limits on the bank accounts are very low here. You notice how?
They just raised it to 750,000, I think, from 500,000 pesos.
We were at a bank the other day, and it seemed like it was awful low. It was like 400, I think. Nationally, it's at 750 now.
Something like that. It was only happened, I want to say a month ago.
Okay.
So I don't know when you looked, but either way, it was just raised, but it's still, but that's per bank account. So you can open a bank account. Yeah. BPI, BDO. There's like 20, 30 banks here, right? So you could technically spread all your money out. I think most people leave it in their U.S. or Canadian and transfer as they need, right? So if you okay, this month I need 2,500 peso or dollars, they just move $2,500 and leave it in.
Yeah, but as far as the local culture goes, it seems like there's not a savings.
Well, they might save, but they won't save in cash. It'll save in cash. Because people don't have bank.
They'll just hoard cash.
Yeah, everything. It's a cash economy. Everything's cash. Very few people take cards anywhere.
Yeah.
GCash is their only closest thing to a bank account.
Exactly.
And then it goes down all the time and everything, and they have no money, and it's like, what the heck, man? Oh.
Yeah, I noticed there's a lot of lending between family members.
Yeah.
And I've been asked a little bit, and they always pay it back, but it's never very much. It's maybe like the most, I think, maybe like 5 or 10,000 pesos, and it's not often. And they always pay it back.
That's actually pretty big.
And they always pay it back.
You're a very lucky man.
Yeah, I know.
Generally, we lend if you're like, it's probably gone. So
I figured I did it once, and they paid it back, so I thought it's not a problem.
Hey,
it doesn't happen often either.
That's called earning trust, right?
Yeah,
they earn your trust, then
exactly.
I have no problem with that either.
But I noticed there are issues with the banking here for sure. They have totally different mindset about how they handle money here than we have in the West.
Yeah.
And in some ways, it keeps them from getting too far in debt. because
oh yeah, well, there's no debt here.
Yeah.
Right? Most people don't have loans, don't have mortgages, don't have anything, so everything's cash. Or you save up enough and then you buy something.
That's one reason why in the West you're gonna show up for your job, because you don't want to get fired. Because if you get fired, you're not gonna make your truck payment. Maybe you're not gonna make your child support payment. Maybe you might end up getting thrown in jail if you don't show up for your job.
That's right.
So here it's different.
Yeah, well, and here you also have the ability to do things. So in the West, often many people who have a low-paying job, $25,000 a year, $30,000 a year, and then they'll be in debt for like $80,000 of credit cards up to their nose and everything else.
Yeah.
And so technically, somebody making that kind of money in the West is poorer than the average minimum wage worker here.
Yeah, average Filipino,
because they actually have savings. They have money. They don't owe any money to anybody. It's shocking to believe, but there's also this thing about the Westerners that often portray everybody here as dirt poor, that kind of thing. Why would you work for 500 pesos a day and all that? It's all based on cost of living here, right? And so you've seen other people, and I have friends that pay only 7,000 pesos a month for rent, and it's big enough for more than one person. So if you think back west, you work for minimum wage at a burger place or whatever, chances are you don't have your own apartment, your own car, your own all these things either. You can't do that on a minimum wage job. It's why it's for students and seniors and stuff like that, or filler jobs. And but here, you can work a minimum wage job and have a relationship with somebody, right? And you're making 14,000 pesos a month. The other one's making 14,000 pesos. 28,000 pesos a month is actually pretty decent here, because you can pay 7,000 for your place, your rent, and you can pay your utilities. So it'll be only like 1,000 because they're probably not going to use air conditioning. And their trikes are 15 pesos to get back and forth to work, and then buy local foods and cook them. So you can see how
you can end up as an average native Filipino here. You can end up with a higher standard of living, even with the
than a minimum wage worker for sure back
America.
In the West. Yeah, because they can't even afford a one-bedroom, a bedroom in a house for rent.
And they don't have their freedom. They can't just pick up and go. They got to show up for work every day.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So it's a different thing that I think a lot of people have a hard time wrapping their head around. And like I said, we pay very well because we give percentage tips. Sometimes they make 1,000 a day.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
They're not paying for the food. The food's paid for, and we generally offer them up to 6 days a week. Sometimes we have to go down to 5, but often we're giving them 6 days, which they appreciate. And so at 6,000 a week, it's 24,000, right? So they can actually make
pretty good money.
Very, very, very good money. And if there's two of them, that's 48. Right now, they're really doing well.
Yeah, and they've got extended families too that they can kind of rely on more than people in the West have, because they've got on average they have a larger family size here.
Yeah, by far.
And
their families are like everybody's a cousin.
And they're pretty close knit. And you're not going to end up out on the street if like in America you might. Here, you got people you can fall back on.
Yeah.
More people. Let's put it that way. You got a lot more people.
Of course. They'll have 4 grandmothers, because when we have a great aunt or an aunt, right? They everybody that's your grandmother's age, sister-wise, are grandparents.
Yep, that's exactly
right. So that's hard to wrap around, right? So you have so many grandparents, and then all of their kids and they're all not second cousins. They're all cousins. Everybody's a cousin, and you're like, how can they all be your cousin? But they are, and they're all close knit.
I gotta change the bed.